Folks, welcome back. My name is Rudy. You're watching Alpha Investments. Today is going to be mostly an audio conversation with a little bit of, you guys can look at some old cards in the background, but I want to talk about the state of collector's edition cards, the state of grading collector's edition cards, and my honest opinion about it. And of course, where I think the market's at. So we got one empty box here. This is an international, you guys see that right there, international collector's edition, also known as the ICE version. Nothing in it, except this is a fun little piece of information. The guy had an old, this is no barcode, an old actual Alpha deck that he claims, it's empty by the way, there's I think a rule book in it, that he had acquired, he just liked because it was cool and everything, and apparently his store back in the day, after they opened it and took out the cards, left it in mint condition, and then the store resealed it so that it would stay nice and neat. So I thought that was kind of an interesting little thing. And it's a friendly reminder to everybody out there that, yeah, so you need to be very careful on buying these type of things. So obviously this is very old and crackaroonied, and, you know, I can kind of just, you know, I can just kind of pull this off. There's no real value or anything to keeping it that way. But I just wanted to share that I thought that was quite an interesting little tidbit. And of course you can see the old, what I call the white page, old rule book in there without the fancy cover from the 4th edition era Ford. Anyways. You guys know I always love these old, these extra boxes. This one's actually pretty rough, not a lot of value to it. But I always like these to have extra for when I deal with sets and collections. Now this one is a not complete set. It's missing a lot of basic lands in the back. A couple little foo-foo-y cards. But it does have kind of the power cards, everything like that. So I'm going to kind of start in the back here. And I just kind of want to go over a few things with you guys. These are all the basic. You remember these collector's edition sets and ice sets have a tremendous amount of basic lands. Like you get a ton of all the versions. And then of course you have your 10 dual lands in the back, or you're supposed to. We have 3, 6, 8, and of course you have the other two that I guess somehow were graded. You got pretty rough here. See, this was the problem if you use these cards back in the day. They get so worn, and then that led a lot of people wanting to clip the corners and just make them into beta cards and then just, of course, put it in the sleeve. Like from a distance there, it almost looks like it already has a clipped corner. Look at that, because it starts looking rounded because of how worn those pointed corners get. The gold, if you rub it, the gold will literally come off. You can actually start seeing it come off on the side. And then the corners. And, of course, the other issue with these cards is when you put under lighting, look at the surface. Oh, there it is. You guys see that? Let's get Rudy's tool here. Do you guys see this? Right, if you look at the surface, it starts getting almost a spotty look. The surface gets all kinds of weird debris and dirt and grime, and that was because it was kind of a glossy surface when they made these compared to ABU cards, and that glossy or slick surface almost becomes sticky from handling and oils on your hands. See, look at the plateau there. Look at this one. See that? Like, look at the surface of the plateau. You can see all that. Like, if this was graded, this surface grade on this card would be just wrecked. So, anyways, I want to comment real quick on the grading of collector's edition and ice cards type thing. Short answer, I don't like it. I don't like anything to do with grading when it comes to collector's edition sets like this. Number one, the anime wall is just as rare as the Black Lotus in this product. The common card, let's just flip to a random common card. Of course we flipped the Thought Lace, of course it wasn't Stasis. Where's the common card? There you go, Psychic Venom. This Psychic Venom common card is just as rare as the Black Lotus in the collector's edition and the ice sets, because all the cards were printed equally. The commons, uncommons, rares all have the same print run in a collector's edition set. The lands are the basic lands are the only thing that had multiples that were included with each package. So again, I'm not a fan of graded of these things. Nobody's making counterfeit gold-backed collector's edition cards. This is not really a thing. So just be aware of that. You can see collectors, see that on the back? You see this one? Like, you see how the set is just kind of a mixed match like that? And are these both, what are these in the back? One's collectors, so these two are both collectors. So again, just be aware that I just don't view collector's edition sets as a tremendous premium just because they're graded. Like, to me, like, when I saw this thing in the collection, like, this thing graded an 8 is no different. I mean, it's not a gem mint crazy. This is just literally a normal collector's edition card. You got some little chips in the corner, a little basically. Now a 9 is pretty tough to get because this one actually means it's truly minty. It's got nice pointed corners and everything, centering and all that crap. Getting a 10 in collector's edition does carry a pretty good premium, but it's so flippin' difficult to get And the cost of grading, the turnaround time for grading, I mean, I just don't think it's worth it. I don't think it's worth to spend a ton of money, grade a brick of 300 of these things to get what? 5 to 10% of them as 10s? So what, get 20 PSA 10s out of grading 300 cards if you're lucky? If you're lucky on a good day and somebody bribed the grader and slipped them something special? I don't buy into that. I'm just not buying into that crap. I think it's all fugazi and fairy dust scam. And again, like I've always told everybody, the number one reason people grade very strange things is because of how it moves the value and perception on the open market. You know, this particular card, graded raw versus graded a 9 or PSA 10, the price swings dramatically for a store or a dealer or somebody selling it. Me personally, I don't want slabs of thousands of collector edition cards when I can just store them all in this nice little box and put that inside of a vault or a safe. I prefer that. Now, moving forward, I still told you guys, I believe 2023 and 2024, PSA and Beckett are going to be fully caught up. They're going to go back to running specials, and the prices are going to get back to normal for grading cards. Market conditions are going to be very, very different, and I think the world is going to view grading in premiums, and I think a lot of these other third-party new grading companies that popped up because the big dog PSA and Beckett were so backlogged, it made room for these new little pop-up grading companies all over the country. There's got to be, I swear there's got to be 10, 15 new grading companies if you Google it. I think most of them will fail, and then it'll be looked back upon as that little boom and bust era, and I think Beckett and PSA will still remain the top two. You may have like CGC and maybe some of the other ones that maybe will hang around, but the top two will always remain the top two in my opinion. And the Magic and of course the Pokemon world is still very heavily favored PSA. The Magic world is skewed towards Beckett because of subgrades, and everyone's got their personal favorites, but I'm not going to get into that. That's not the point of the video. The point of the video though is, again, let's go to the artifacts now on this particular thing, is we got ourselves a very attempted corner clipped damaged Black Lotus. An awful attempt at corner clipped Black Lotus. This is an Ice One International Edition, not collectors. And somebody tried to clip the corners. So this is no matter how, this could be a perfect, the surface could be gem mint, perfectly centered, not a single scratch, and this is still a damaged card, period. You couldn't even grade, like PSA would send it back, authentic, altered, clipped corners. You couldn't even grade this thing, get a grade on it. So that's the first thing that really smashed the value of this particular set. Of course, you've got the time vault on here, and you can see the same thing. You can see play wear and corner wear on these things on all the mock. And the Sapphire might be the worst one there. That sucker's rough. You can see heavily grime and surface and dings. Back's a little better. That front's pretty rough. But again, I didn't acquire this particular collection because it was a Gem Mint Collector's Edition set. Oh, that's some weird. Boy, look at that. I bought this because I believe long term that no matter what the market conditions are, I believe that this is still a good place to put money long term. And of course, when you run into a collector's edition set like this, and this gentleman said, hey, the Black Lotus is damaged, has clipped corners, blah, blah, blah. That doesn't really bother me that much because, number one, remember, folks, there is a market for damaged, clipped corners, inked cards. There's still people who want them. They don't want to grade them. They want to have it in a deck. And there are people out there that would rather get this at a discount and put it in a sleeve and actually have it in their old school deck or something versus playing with an actual Alpha Beta Black Lotus that's worth $50,000 or $100,000 or something like that. They would rather play with something like this in a sleeve in a deck. Because again, when this is sleeved in or double sleeved in a deck of 40, 60, 80 million cards, you're not going to know the difference. So there's always going to be a market for it. Now again, that market ain't going to pay you nowhere near market value or full price or a premium, but it does exist. Now again, I always keep spare parts. I was going to say spare cards so I can swap out some of these extras or the ones that are labeled, maybe that's an international. And most of this set is international, I think, or is it all collectors? It looks like this is mostly a collector's edition set with a few international cards kind of scattered in through it. So yeah, these all look collectors. The Black Lotus for some reason. So the rest of the mocks and the artifacts appear to all be collectors. So that Lotus for some reason is international. Where's the blue cards? Oh, Wheel of Fortune. What are you? Wheel of Fortune is collectors. Where's the blue in the front here? So I'm curious. Let's go to blue. There's beautiful Miss Sarah Angel, always looking spicy. Okay, Time Twister with a nasty little mark on there. Time Twister's collectors. Time Walk is collectors. Unfortunately, definitely some wear on all these again. Okay, so it looks like everything is collectors except a couple cards. You can see some of the really yellow, dirty cards there in the middle, too. Anyways, again, like I always say, everybody, I know we're in turbulent times. A lot of fear, panic, this time inflation problems, and this particular downturn, recession, whatever hot topic or lingo you want to use, is a different type of downturn recession compared to 2020. This is more of an inflation kind of interest rate rising. I would call it kind of a credit cash crunch for stores and people and collectors, investors, due to everybody being squeezed on cost of living and actual income and the expense to maintain your family and household. Overall, I do think it's going to pass. Yes, I don't think the world's going to end. I do think somehow the sun's going to come out tomorrow. I know everybody disagrees. No, this is the beginning of the end. Don't buy anything. This guy's crazy. Yeah, I've heard it all. I know, but you know what? The world does end. Everything goes to zero. Well, I'm going to enjoy my cards. If it doesn't end, well, it works out. So if everything goes to zero and cards aren't worth anything and the US dollar is worthless, well, then we got bigger problems, and magic and anything else ain't going to matter anyways. So I just think people, if you're able to kind of enjoy this stuff, these are going to be the times that you're probably going to continue to see good prices and softer market prices. Buy list prices have come down way off their highs. You're going to see the prices of all these things, and maybe there's some cards you always wanted to get and you were never able to afford it or acquire it. And of course, you know, when these things are 20, 30% off their highs, maybe they go to 40, 50% off their highs. We don't know. Or maybe this is the bottom now. Or maybe it keeps dropping. You know, we don't know. But the point is, you know, this is something, you know, if you have a passion for this stuff and it's something you believe in and you want to diversify into collectibles with all your other stocks, bonds, real estate, crypto, and ex-girlfriends and appliances and all that stuff, you know, this is the time you should probably be slowly adding to positions over the next 6, 12 months. Is probably average out these market swings. It's probably going to be worth it long term. That's really all I have to say. Mostly wanted to go over where I think moving forward, I think Collector Edition and ICE, I think these gold-backed Collector Edition cards are still going to continue to do well long term, because I still believe the alpha cards are already essentially almost unattainable. The alpha cards alone, the amount that are for sale, the amount that are on the open market, the amount stores have is so low. They're essentially just, you know, like I always said, you know, museum, Rudy says museum quality. I do. I still believe alpha cards are museum level stuff, representing the beginning of an era of CCGs, and that's already over with. I think Beta Unlimited are right behind it, and I think for black bordered original Magic set, the collector's edition is going to be what's still kind of affordable for most people compared to the alpha beta stuff. So I think that's going to be a very important thing to consider moving forward. And other than that, no, the world's not ending. Stay off social media. Stop refreshing your crypto or your stock prices or your portfolio every 2 minutes. We just got to, you know, it's a cruel summer. We got to dig through it. We're going to make it out the other side. As we get towards the end of the year, I think things are going to feel a little bit better. They're going to feel more calm, and, you know, we're getting there. This is, by the way, this video and this collection was done in June. You know, probably, you know, second week of June. So hopefully I can get this video out to you guys by the end of June. But you guys may not watch this video until probably until maybe July or something. But other than that, I appreciate all the contacts. Everything you see in this video is not for sale, but I always appreciate it. If you have an old collection you want to sell, AlphainvestmentsLLC at gmail.com. The old PP for pictures and prices. No creepy giggities. Other than that, have a great day, everybody. It's a beautiful world out there. Don't lose sight of it.